What's up, G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Today's podcast, we're going to talk about the Shin Gojira premiere that happened earlier this week, as well as go over some more of that Kong Skull Island trailer, because I got to be honest, I've watched that trailer now about 50-something times, and I keep loving it every single time I see it, so I am stupid hyped. The only thing is that shit comes out in March. I just said a curse word, but before we go into all that, let me introduce you to my panel. Hanging out with me once again from G Show Land, we got G95. What's up, bro?
I have returned.
You have returned. You missed a really good podcast the other day.
I did. I listened to it at work, and I was like, "Fuck! I should have been on that one."
One.
What to say?
That's one. See, Andrew, don't worry. We're keeping tabs on him too. Joining me also from G Show Land, we have G73 as always. What's up, brother?
Hey, guys.
And joining me from the Zilla Junior page, the artist formerly known as Z1, we've got Gam Gams. What's up, Gam Gam?
Bleeping.
I love it. I love it. We will not call you Gam Gams through this podcast. No, we were going to call you Z1. That is your name.
I'm going to call him Gam Gams.
No, okay, see, the reason why they're calling me Gam Gams is because I changed my moniker on GVA from Admin Zilla to Admin Gamera. So everybody likes to call me Gam Gams now.
Yes, and Gam Gams likes to rustle the jimmies.
I do.
All right. So let's get into this topic of the podcast, which is world premiere of Shin Gojira that happened this week, because even though we're pre-recording this podcast, by the time it goes up, which if you're listening to it right now, it is Friday, July 29th, which means it's Shin Godzilla Day. All right. And yes, it is the first Godzilla movie from Toho in a very long time, 12 years if I'm not mistaken, and it is out, released now. Of course, none of us here on the panel has seen it, or have we? No, we haven't. Of course not, because none of us was lucky enough to be at the premiere. But the premiere did happen. What was that?
No comment.
No comment. Yeah, keep your mouth shut. But the premiere did happen.
You know, if I would have seen it, I would have been like, oh my gosh, guys.
It's true. Me and G95 would have probably been up like all freaking night. But so the premiere did happen. They had a gigantic red carpet premiere in Japan, in Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. I think they called it Godzilla Road. All in all, the red carpet was gigantic. It was at least 4 blocks long. It was amazing.
The red carpet was actually as long as Godzilla is tall in the movie.
That is freaking awesome. So let's say 4 blocks. I'm just going to go on a limb there and say 4 blocks. The overhead picture looked like 4 blocks. But the whole cast and crew was there, of course, as well as many Japanese stars and starlets, all there to see one thing, and that is Japan's greatest icon known as Gojira, starring in a brand new, not affected by any continuity movie. I am super excited for it. But before I get into my excitement and my levels of excitement, let's jump to G95 and ask him, did you watch that premiere that they live streamed? And if you did, what did you think? Because I know you didn't understand any of it, but what did you think of it?
I didn't watch it at all, so I don't think too much of it. I mean, it's cool that they're doing a really big premiere for it, and I've seen the pictures that have been posted online, and everybody seems like they're having a really good time and all that, and that's cool to see.
Yeah, it really is. I was looking at it, and I'm like, man, I don't think I've ever seen a Godzilla movie get promoted like this. Maybe Final Wars did. I didn't have access. I don't think the internet, well, no, it was, because it was 12 years ago, but I don't think it was as popular as it is now to live stream everything. So if they did have a big premiere, I'm sure it wasn't live streamed.
I think the biggest thing when it comes to Final Wars that happened was at the same time Godzilla got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
12 years ago then, Godzilla got his star on the Walk of Fame. That is amazing, an amazing triumph. But since you spoke, let's jump to you, Gam Z1. Well, did you watch this live feed of the premiere? And if you did, what did you think?
No, I didn't, because my internet situation is still fucked up as shit. I saw the pictures.
1, 2.
I like the pictures. I saw the pictures and I liked the pictures. They were cool. I particularly like the one where like everybody's doing that Shin Godzilla pose except for the director Anno. He's just standing there like, these fucking idiots.
3.
Fucking thug life going up in there.
4. Go ahead.
Bleeping.
There you go.
Bleeping thug life going up in there. And other than, I also like the big Shin Godzilla head that some people pose next to. It looked a little, it looked pretty cool. And then I heard the news that everybody thinks that the film's magnificent. It's a masterpiece. It's this and that and this and that. And I'm like, well, I'll reserve my judgment because, you know, maybe it was just the heat of the moment. Oh, this big, you know, premiere. Maybe they'll think the movie's better than it actually is because of this hype.
That is true. I mean, Superman, Batman was a testament to that earlier this year. Hype came out.
When that came out, everybody was like, oh, this movie's great. Oh, this movie's great. You know, with the red carpet premiere. And then after everything settled and then the real reviews came out, oh, wait, this movie's garbage.
It wasn't that good. Let's jump to UG73. Did you, which I'm pretty sure you might have, did you watch the red carpet premiere of Shin Goji? And if so, what did you think about the spectacle?
Well, of course I watched the live premiere. What else am I going to do at 3 in the morning?
Sleep!
I mean, I think it came out around midnight, maybe 1, 2 o'clock, I don't remember. I liked it. The one thing that kind of made me more interested was that during the commercials that they showed, they would either show Shin Gojira commercials or they would show little snippets of the makings of Shin Gojira. And this one part that got me excited was that they were in a big room and Anno was giving a big old speech to everybody. And he was just hyping everybody up. And I was like, wow. I mean, that kind of, I'm like, he must have some clear dedication to what he's wanting to do because everyone's following in his footsteps. And it was kind of cool to see. They didn't really show anything else more. I mean, we've already seen everything else. But it was pretty cool. I mean, it lasted about an hour and maybe 10 minutes or so, if I'm right. And then afterwards, everybody gathered in a room, supposedly to watch Shin Gojira. And so that was pretty much it. They didn't really do much. I mean, everyone gave, I mean, I'm sure if I understood Japanese, it would have made more sense to me. But everything was just noise to me at the time. But their expressions that I could pick up were pretty cool. You know, it was nice seeing. But what I was glad about was seeing all the people that showed up for it. There was quite a few people that showed up, and I was glad to see it because I was like, well, Godzilla premiere, you know, will people show up? How many people will show up? And it was crowded. It was flooded with people, and I thought that was cool. It got me excited just because, you know, it just gives me hope that, you know, and then as the reviews that came out, you know, what Andrew said, the 3 that I read, they were all positive, and they were just not only saying it was a masterpiece, but what caught my attention was it was just a good, you know, compliment to the 1954 film.
Let me ask you a question. Since you watched it and there was a lot of people there, were there any questions to the audience? Did the live stream go into the crowd and say, hey, you know, of course you wouldn't understand what they say, but did they go into the crowd and ask the crowd any questions or just hype up the crowd?
What it was premiered by this company called Liveline, and it's a Japanese broadcasting company. and it was just them broadcasting the whole thing. But they talked exclusively with like the cast and and Anno and Shinji, Higuchi, and just everyone on the board. But they didn't really do anything with the cast. I mean, they did go like. They would record the cast members signing autographs on the posters and everyone, jumping around, their girls wearing Godzilla shirts and, they would hold out the peace sign, that kind of stuff. But nothing else like if they interviewed them that I saw.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah. I have actually a couple questions. The first question is a serious question. There's the cast and there's some famous people, probably like Akira Takarada, the original Godzilla suit actors were probably there. But like, was there anybody of note that you noticed that was at the premiere?
No, just the full board of Shin Gojira. Akira Takarada wasn't shown at all. I mean, there wasn't anyone superly. Yeah, nobody was like there that I recognized just from what I've seen, following Shin Gojira. It was strictly the Shin Gojira. And number two, it was nothing from
non-serious question
or anything.
Non-serious question here. Did any of those chicks wearing the Godzilla shirt pop their tits out?
Oh my God!
No, because it was a family event, and I'm sure it wouldn't have shown that.
Yeah. Let's keep those questions to a minimum here.
Women, they were attractive, but nothing that I saw. No nudity.
Let's keep those questions to a minimum here because I do have company in my vicinity, and they're all ladies. All right? Thank you. And on that note, let's talk about the excitement levels because here we are on the cusp of Shinji. It's out. It's out there. People have seen it now. And as you guys are watching this podcast, more people are seeing it because it's in theaters. So, are you expecting the reviews to change, or do you think what was coming out of the premiere? Because let's be for real here, the premiere mainly consisted of the people who worked on the film, the stars, and I guess some press and maybe several hundred lucky few. Do you think those reviews, like Z1 was saying earlier, might become something akin to BVS? Or are we going to ride this positive wave and say, go Godzilla? And let's start with you, G95.
I think it is probably a little bit of the hype. Usually at the premiere event for pretty much any movie, when the reviews come out, they're almost always unanimously positive. I think there will be people who love this movie, and I think there'll be people who hate this movie, and that'll show in the reviews. But I'm not necessarily certain it'll be kind of like it'll be a BVS situation where it's a lot of mixed reviews. Obviously, we're all hoping that all the reviews are great, but that's not necessarily going to be the case. I have enough faith in this movie and the creators and writers, Hideki Anno and Shinji Higuchi, or Higuchi Shinji, I don't know which way it is, that they'll deliver a fantastic movie, and it'll just be good to see Godzilla back in action.
Awesome. Gotcha. So I like that answer a lot. Very hard to follow up, but we're going to go to Gam Z1. What do you think, bro?
Okay, so basically what you're saying is, do you think that either the reviews will stay positive or will they go down?
Yeah.
Well, considering what I've seen in the trailers and whatnot, it might go down, but I don't know. From what I've seen in the trailers, there's literally nothing in terms of story. So, it could stay steady. I know for a fact that, the Japanese mindset is a lot different than the American mindset. So once it comes over here to the state, it's probably going to get torn to shreds.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But as in terms of the Japanese reception, it'll probably stay relatively positive. They even loved the PS4 game over there and thought that we were disgraceful for dissing it over here. So, they're a lot easier to please than we are.
That PS4 game was fun. It's very slow, but it's fun nonetheless. I don't know. That's just my opinion, personally. I have fun
I mean,
with
it
it.
got torn to shreds over here. Absolutely torn to shreds. And then the Japanese people, when they finally got it, they were like, "Hey, this game is actually pretty friggin' good. What are you Americans talking about?"
It's
So it'll probably be a similar situation with Shin Gojira, where it's like, "Hey, this film's amazing. Why do you Americans hate it so much?"
it probably has to do with the fact that it's something you had mentioned on the previous podcast where certain demographics just don't want to read. We've just become
Exactly.
lazy
No, like
or numb.
the general American going audience does not like subtitles. They hate it.
Absolutely.
And that's why I like the fact that Funimation's doing it, because if Funimation's smart, they'll just dub the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's what they're going to do. They're going to get the good dubs in. They're going to have some really good voiceover actors come in and handle the business for this movie. Hopefully that's not the first way I see it.
They could easily get one of their member
I had a
boards
lot of
on the
fanboys go like, "Oh no, they better not dub it. Oh, if they're not going to dub it, they didn't dub Attack on Titan." And I'm just like, Attack on Titan's a different scenario, though. Attack on Titan is not Godzilla. It's not a well-known presence here worldwide as Godzilla is.
Right, there's not 60 plus years of it.
And another thing is, like, for every anime that they don't dub and they just do the subs for, there's like a dozen that they do dub. Attack on Titan was a special case and didn't eventually get the dub. Like, I'm pretty
I was
sure.
talking about the movie, the Attack on Titan live-action movie.
Oh yeah, because I was watching the anime dubbed. I watched that anime dubbed. So yeah, he was talking about the movie.
Like, Funimation didn't dub the movie; they just subtitled it when they released it here in the States.
I think that might have been because it was such a limited release. That's a lot more limited than Godzilla.
Yes, and I'll say this to that point. When I saw Final Wars, okay, of course I saw Final Wars really early on some not so legal avenues, but it did get a limited release in New York in an art house where I actually wound up working down the block from. And it was not dubbed, it was subtitled. And it was gorgeous. I loved watching it. There was a bunch of G fans there, and I was like in heaven. I was like, it's like G Fest 2.0 over here. I went with G2 and his brother, and we had a really good time with it, even though they had seen it previously also with me at home. But it was such a limited release. Like, literally, I think it was only playing at Art House in New York. And that was probably one of the greatest adventurous days of my life as far as movies go, because we went to see Batman Begins, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, and we ended it with Final Wars. Thrown in the mix of that, there was a comic book convention that we had no clue was going on, that we crashed and got a shit ton of good geeky stuff. So that day goes down as the Holy Trinity, as one of the greatest days of my entire life, because I got to see Batman, Star Wars, and Godzilla all rolled up into one. Just like this year, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. We have BVS, we're getting Shinji, and Star Wars comes out at the end of the year. It's a perfect storm for someone like me, who I just love those three franchises. But yeah, so I went off there. I'm sorry, I haven't done a tangent in a minute, and that was a small one. But yeah, so I agree with what Gam Gam Z1 has said. That is your new name, by the way. It will forever be Gam Gam Z1, because I just like the way it rolls off the tongue.
Okay.
But no, I like what you were saying. Yeah, Godzilla PS4 got shredded by reviews over here. I totally get that. It's not the type of game American audiences are into.
No, they expect Call of Duty with Godzilla in the background.
Right. And then I see what you're saying as far as they would have to dub it because subtitles just won't work for a limited theatrical release. So I agree with you. I totally agree with you. G73, you have anything you want to add to that?
Just if they were just going to subtitle it, you could easily go with someone just in their own domain, working on Shin Gojira to subtitle this film. They wouldn't have to go to Funimation to do it. So I don't know why they would go to Funimation just to subtitle it. However, I see the reviews being, because I've seen not just article reviews from like actual news sources. I've seen some of the public's reviews, and even they are positive already. They're not like thrashing it, but those are where I'm at when I'm reading these. Those are from Godzilla fans though. I see it being, kind of down the middle. People are going to thrash it just to hate it, and there are people that are going to like it, and there are going to people that say that it's, kind of 50-50. I would be surprised if it comes. I mean, of course, in the United States, the reviews for it are going to be more shallow and more, biased. But at this point, I'm happy with what the reviews are, in Japanese waters. So I'm not too concerned right now.
I agree with you. Listen, I know for a fact we're all going to go to see this in the movie theaters when it comes out. Whether it's theatrically limited or not, we're going to go see this thing. I hope it's not so limited. I hope it's... All right, when Attack on Titan came out, it was like only playing at like the Chinese Man Theater in LA. But when Revenge of Frieza came out, they opened that up nationwide. Very limited, but it was nationwide, where pretty much every state had a theater or two that you can go see it. Of course, bigger markets had more theaters. But I know when Dragon Ball Z Frieza Resurrection F came out, that was playing over here close to me, and I was like, "Holy shit! They're playing!" I didn't get to go.
It's supposed to be censoring you.
Oh, look at that! Whoop! Yeah, who? Somebody keep count.
At least
Somebody keep count,
Yeah,
please.
you're at 2 so far.
Two on your host G1. Oh boy, but yeah. So bleepity bleep bleeps. When I heard Resurrection F was coming out, I was ecstatic, excited. I was so happy. I didn't get to see it. But I own it. I bought it. So I'm hoping for something like that for Shinji.
I have Battle of Gods. I don't have Resurrection F, but that's going on a tangent here.
No, yeah, I don't even remember if Battle of the Gods came out the way Resurrection F did. I know it came out here in the States, but I don't recall if when did that movie even come out? What is that? 2013?
No, it had to be.
Yeah, Battle of Gods came out 2013, maybe 2012.
All right, so
no, I think it was. I'm almost positive that it was 2014 because I was already out of high school and I saw it in theaters.
Okay, 2014 kind of makes sense in 2015 because they'll do it every year. They'll have a DBZ movie. I could see that, even though the year's coming to an end. And of course, this is the Godzilla Block Party, and here we are talking Dragon Ball Z movies. But I have to ask the question: does anybody know if there's going to be a new Dragon Ball Z movie coming out this year?
No. They're focusing on Dragon Ball Super.
Just Super? Okay. All right, I can see that. I totally understand. I could buy that. All right, well, the excitement levels are through the roof. Shin Goji's here. Hopefully, it'll be available to pretty much everybody very, very soon. But what's not
Shin
gonna...
Goji for DLC and Godzilla PS4.
I'm with it. Hey, I'm talking. You know what? That's something I wanted to talk about. In all honesty, I don't understand why we haven't seen that yet. Now, so my question, I guess, is the Bandai game just dead now in the water? It becomes nostalgia.
Well, it's loved in Japan, so I'm not sure.
See, but all right, and
I have the answer to that, but I don't know who's talking.
Okay, I want you to talk then. I want the answer.
Yeah, it's shut down. Bandai Namco America, at least, when they did their touch on it, yeah, they released a statement that they have no plans for a DLC or anything. Now, I mean, I don't see why. I mean, if that's going to change, they need to make that address now. But yeah, they released a statement a while back ago that they have no plans to touch anymore on the game. So
All right, so whatever they already did DLC is all again.
but they did mention they do plan to make more Godzilla games in the future.
Well, of course, that also depends on the success. Look, if Atari was coming out with, Destroy All the Monsters Melee and Save the Earth and then Unleashed, why not? Because personally, I love that PS4 game. I love the character models. I love thrashing cities, and then I love fighting the monsters. Towards the ends of levels, I had an absolute blast with that stuff. Especially towards the end when you could, either fight Burning G or no, you become Burning G, but you could fight G14, go in a certain path to get Jaguar to come. That was some fun stuff. But as I was saying, Shinji's coming out. Shinji's out right now, and hopefully for us it'll be here soon. But what is not coming soon, something we have to wait 6 to 8 more months for, is Kong Skull Island. Now, on the last podcast, a couple of us we discussed our opinions on this trailer, but somebody was not here for that, and that somebody is going to get his shot to speak right now. So, G95, your opinions on Kong Skull Island.
Well, let me start off by saying that I came into when that trailer debuted on Saturday during Comic-Con. I woke up that morning ready for Skull Island, and pretty much only Skull Island. So I was hyped. But then all the DC stuff came out about an hour before, and that made my hype for DC just shoot way above Kong. That's not to say that I didn't love every second of that Kong Skull Island trailer. I think that was a better put together trailer than anything we saw from DC or the Doctor Strange trailer, just because of the cinematography and how it looked and how the class of actors they got.
Yes.
Is just incredible. And I also disagree with what Shinji said, and more agree with what you said, G1, is that I think Kong is way bigger than 100 feet. I'm hitting him at like 275 at least.
That's a good, yes, I agree with that. Yes.
And that's not too much shorter than Legendary Goji, but it's because it's shorter, but not that much. It's not short enough to be like detrimental to the inevitable fight we get in Godzilla vs. Kong 2020.
He's a well adversary.
If you remember, I rewatched G14 on Saturday, and just to kind of get my head in the mindset preparing for the Kong Skull Island trailer, and the male Muto is substantially smaller than Godzilla, like by a lot. And that thing put up a great fight against Godzilla. It took a lot for Godzilla to take him down. I don't understand why people think like, oh, he's gonna be a little bit shorter. Godzilla will just step on him. Like, no, come on. He's got
25 feet, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Kong has got the speed advantage, probably the intelligent advantage. He's got the agility, and it looks. I mean, it was presumably him throwing the palm tree in the trailer. I assume that means he knows how to use weapons.
Right.
To a degree.
Godzilla was a little bit intelligent in 2014 too. At least he had, his expressions maybe were, but
I agree with you, G73. And then that one particular scene where he watched the male Muto come around and was like, tail swipe, you're done. And that was a very smart move on Godzilla's part in that movie. But
I mean, kind of historically, it's always been portrayed that, save for maybe the Heisei series and later Showa, like superhero era Showa stuff, that that Kong is kind of a bit more intelligent than Godzilla. I mean, later, like Godzilla versus Megalon kind of era Godzilla, that he was as smart as any person, easily.
Right. Yeah.
He was one step away from talking, and he did talk in Godzilla versus Gigan.
Let's not talk about that ever until we get to that. But ever.
I remember in the original, in the American version of King Kong versus Godzilla, the American guy talked about like the difference between like an ape skull and like a lizard skull, and like he chalked that up to like the intelligence of the two combatants, and he basically called Godzilla stupid. And even though he's a lot bigger than a Stegosaurus, he said that Godzilla's brain was still the size of a walnut.
That's why I love G84 because of the birds.
Cherry.
Yeah.
A machine cherry.
That's why I love G84, because the idea that the birds chirping is automatically taking Godzilla's focus. I'm following the flock, following the flock, following the flock. I love that because small brains. But I totally agree with G95. Kong most definitely will be smarter, more intelligent, I should say, than Godzilla. But we shall see, because G14, this particular Godzilla, seems to be mighty intelligent itself. But I will say this. Kong having the appendages he has, and they look proportioned, it's going to be awesome to see him getting around Godzilla, because Godzilla is only going to be able to use his breath and his tail because his arms are still too short. Whereas Kong looks like, I mean, you see him. This thing is, he's proportioned.
He's like Bigfoot Kong.
Yes, Bigfoot, exactly. So, if he wants to, Godzilla can't block. If Kong wants to come with, the roundhouse right, bam, and catch Godzilla in the jaw.
I mean, I keep on bringing up this damn game, but Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla PS4 had some reach on him.
Okay, he did, but again, but then that's a video game too.
Are we accepting that game as canon to the legendary movies? I don't think that's accurate.
Yes, because again, like G95 pointed out, the male Muto put up a hell of a fight and was significantly smaller, and he just flew. Godzilla couldn't really grapple with it.
You do remember G2014? He does use his arms in the movie. Though.
I agree with you.
It is a possibility.
But what I'm saying is, G14's arms are not as proportionate to the rest of his body.
Yeah, I mean,
as where you look at Kong.
I don't expect Godzilla throwing punches and uppercutting people.
Because again, no, don't get me wrong. I like G95 said, I love the Showa stuff from Megalon on. He come in, he start 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, right in the bit, body blow, blah, and then, and then hit you in the face. Look what he did to Titanosaurus. I love that. Okay, I love when Godzilla runs up and hit you with a 5-6 piece. Boom, 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 boom. G14's not doing that. He's not. He's got to grab you, bite you, hit you with your tail. He grabbed Mama Muto, okay? He was able to grab her because she didn't fly or nothing, and she was gigantic. Yeah, and she was big enough for him to grab and just say, hey, here, hold on that. But Kong's different, man, and there's not going to be a tree big enough to hold Kong's weight for him to swing off a branch, but I'm sure he's going to swing off with his fist and catch Godzilla 1-2. I definitely see that.
You don't see any tree deep throat scenes.
Well, it's funny about that scene though with the palm tree and the helicopter.
Back to Kong.
the palm tree and the helicopter. That was a funny thing because honestly, when I watched that trailer, it was yesterday. I was thinking about that. I was laughing to myself. I was like, you know what? Because this is set in the Godzilla universe, the legendary Godzilla universe. That's I took it as a funny homage. I'm sure the filmmakers weren't going that route, but as a G fan, I just found that to be funny that here comes a tree going into the helicopter, kind of the way Kong was stuffing Godzilla's mouth.
What I found funny was Samuel Jackson's expression afterwards. But that's, you mother effing apes on this mother effing island.
Very good, very good. But, I want to go back to G95. I don't know if you said his piece, unless you did say your piece, bro.
Oh, I mostly just wanted to talk about the cast.
Go ahead.
How phenomenal the cast is, and how it's kind of incredible that they got this impressive of a cast for.
You saw that interview I tagged you in, right?
No, I never got to watch it.
You and
Sorry, bro.
Gina
We're scrubs. We scrubbed out. We scrubbed out this week. I'm sorry.
No, when you guys get a chance, just check it out when you have like 10 minutes. I mean, it was just great. I didn't mean to cut you off, but just check it out. They touch base on a few things, and it's just John Goodman. He's great. He is hilarious in this interview, and it just made me fall in love with this cast, and it makes me more excited to see it.
I don't know if you guys see that. I'm sorry, man, but going through some old photos over there, my wife, my kid, my mom's, and bam, got this really cool Gamera 2 and Godzilla vs. Destroyer picture here I took.
Hey, Gamera.
Yeah. I took this in
took a
Jersey.
picture of the pictures?
Yeah, I took a picture of the pictures because I couldn't afford it. I took this picture in Jersey, okay? And this was the day I bought GMK, very bootleg, from Clawmark. Shout out to Clawmark. But yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to share that with you guys, and maybe I'll throw that up on the podcast picture there too. But yeah, all right. So G95, the cast, phenomenal cast. We have Loki, we have Captain Marvel, we have Nick Fury, okay, and somewhere down the line, John Goodman. I hope he joins DC, but Marvel's running rampant. We have John Goodman as Marvel's The Thing.
Don't forget we have Loki too.
No,
Yeah.
we have a bunch of Marvel people, and we have Fred Flintstone.
Oh, you're right. That's right. That's a Warner Brothers own propriety. You're absolutely right.
So it's confirmed that John Goodman's now in DC because it's Warner Bros.
That's right. But then, I mean, well, it's just all that Marvel DC aside, it is a stellar cast. John Goodman is phenomenal. John Goodman, to me, has always been the Roseanne guy. I did not watch, well, I watched the Flintstones. Don't let me lie to you. But I don't care about that movie. I didn't notice John Goodman until Red State. And I was like, whoa. Because I didn't watch, like, The Big Lebowski and things like that. Kevin Smith's Red State, man, John Goodman was phenomenal in that. And he really wasn't a big part of that movie. This year's 10 Cloverfield Lane, though, and I'm sure we've all seen that here, anticipating one thing or another, John Goodman was phenomenal. Absolutely crushed it. Great.
He'd say even Oscar-worthy.
I agree. He scared the absolute crap out of me. I know for a fact he scared my brother. He was downright scary in his innocence. And sometimes I look at G73 and I say to myself, I definitely want to be around other people if we're hanging out together. No, I'm only kidding, G7. I love you, brother. Wow.
You say I look scary?
Yeah, I say you look like John Goodman in 10 Cloverfield Lane, brother. No, but yeah, he was really scary. And in our last podcast, G95, if you listen to it, we were all talking about how we think John Goodman could be Carl Denham. And it would be a really nice throwback if that was the case to the original without us having to rehash the original.
Well, see, I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but I did look it up afterwards.
Oh, here we go.
And he's not called.
All right, what if he's called Denham Jr.?
No, he's I forget his last name, but he's some I think he's actually a Monarch member.
Okay, you know what? I'll buy that. I'll take that. The Carl Denham Jr. The Carl Denham thing, I would have loved for.
That makes sense because with Serizawa and what's her name, his partner, I forget her name. Them trying, watching these creatures, for years, especially Godzilla. I mean, that makes sense. 30 years he's been trying to find these monsters. What if he's the creator of Monarch,
Okay, but hey, hang on. How awesome would it be, to your point there, G73, how awesome would it be? You had Serizawa, right? And then you have Carl Denham, a part of Monarch. Think about that.
I would love that. That's bringing Kong and Godzilla infused together.
I love it. The connective tissue is beautiful. I would love it.
That's like as good.
There's
as
only one kind of hiccup with the whole Monarch being developed during this time, because this is set during the 70s, and Godzilla Awakening, that comic's still canon to the Legendary Universe, and that means that Monarch was established in 1954.
Right. I'm not saying that Carl Denham had established Monarch. What I'm saying is, how cool would it be if, because we have Serizawa, okay, and that's a tie into 54, right? We have Serizawa being a part of Monarch, and we had, let's say, if he was Carl Denham being a part of Monarch, and that's a tie, that's a nice little nod to original Kong. It's just nice little nods, and then that they're both tied into this bigger thing, Monarch. I think it's a beautiful connective tissue. It works. It really does. For a fanboy, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's like the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup of movies right there.
There you go. Oh, man, that's why I love you, G73. That was good. I love it.
Oh, I would love that. That's my favorite candy, too.
Hell yeah. But, so, all right, real quick, I just want to throw this out there. Star Trek Into Darkness, J.J. Abrams had given Benedict Cumberbatch a false name. Throughout all the promotion, from the beginning of the filming, he was going by somebody from the original Star Trek show, and I forget the guy's name. He was like he had like acquired godlike powers. I think they actually even used his name in the movie, and then it turned out to be Khan. What if that's what they're doing right now, just to cover up the tie to Carl Denham? Now, I don't know if that's true. Again,
I mean, I don't know. That's just what a friend told me. That, oh no, it's not Carl Denham. Like, I'm sorry to ruin your dreams, but
all right. Well, a friend could just be trolling you.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think that if they were holding on to the quote unquote secret of John Goodman playing Carl Denham, they would just not give his name, like they did with Ken Watanabe in Godzilla. They held off on revealing that he was playing Dr. Serizawa until like 2 months before the movie came out.
Well, let me ask you a question. Outside of the G fan community, do you think anybody knows who Serizawa is? That's just a nice Japanese name.
Probably not.
Where Carl Denham's been around at least in 2 iterations of King Kong. Because I don't believe Carl Denham was in the 76 version. But
I wouldn't say that Carl Denham is he's not the part of King Kong that you remember. I mean, to us he is, because that movie means a lot to us as kaiju fans. But I think to the average moviegoer, they're just like, ooh, giant monkey.
Really? See, and I like what you said there, but I'm going to respectfully disagree, because I think you remember the person trying to capture Kong. The whole reason why Kong is in New York is because of Carl Denham, because he was such a Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus type of guy. I
think it's more people remember Giant Monkey and Hot Blonde. That's a lot more than...
when I saw...
See, he has my mindset about the general movie-going audience. They're fucking morons. When they see King Kong...
Was that 4 or 5? What was that, 4 or 5?
Godzilla, oh, guy in a rubber suit.
Look, when I saw Peter Jackson's King Kong, and this is where Godzilla and King Kong have a divisional line between them. When I went and saw Peter Jackson's King Kong, the movie theater was filled with old folks. Around, their 60s and everything like that. And that's where I think it is that, you're going to get a really old audience within the next, in any King Kong film that's on screen. I mean, I may be wrong, but I remember when I saw it, I was like the only kid, and it was me and my sisters and my mom. And we were the only, youngins in that theater. And I'm serious. There was no one else of my age there. I mean, luckily, I also went on a Friday, and it was during the middle of school, but I was playing hooky. It was all old folks, and so I'm thinking, when the new Kong comes out, that's probably what's going to be a big audience that's going to aid the movie too. Older generations, they know Kong.
I gotta disagree with that. I think an older generation wouldn't really care about an action movie Kong so much. I
Well,
really
actually,
feel like
let me interject on that. Let me interject on that because when I went to go see Godzilla 2014, for my second and third viewings, yes, I saw the movie in theaters three freaking times.
Six.
My second and third viewing were in like during the day, during the matinee, and the theaters weren't packed, but they had a lot of older people who probably watched Godzilla when they were kids during the old drive-in movie days. So probably it would probably be the same thing for King Kong.
You hear
that's
that?
how I feel.
You hear that, Shinji? You hear that, Shinji? If you're listening to this, if you hear that, Shinji, you need to fire Gam Gam Z1 because he called us old.
That is a good point.
I'm not talking about you old.
I know.
Like people in their 70s and 80s.
No, I totally got what you're saying. I know what G73 is saying, and I do understand what G95 is saying. But go ahead, G73, say your piece.
And that is a good point. That what G95 brings up. That this Kong, right from the back, it's an action film. Peter Jackson's King Kong was a little bit more of a drama.
A love story.
They aired it on the trailers.
Yeah, it was a love story.
Yeah. So, and I think, that's what it was. It was a connection to, the first King Kong movie. So, I mean, that could be a difference too. But I'm just saying, I think King Kong has more of an older generation. Godzilla, is more foreign, and King Kong was kind of, I don't know really where I'm trying to go. Is just King Kong, I feel more people know than Godzilla.
Well, here's where I have to disagree with that, because I do like what you're saying, but I do disagree for a bit. King Kong. This is the 5th movie. No, because I can't even say that. There's been 4 movies with the name King Kong in it. Okay. Now there's been Son of Kong. And then there's this one, Kong of Skull Island. So let's say there's 5 movies with Kong in it, okay? We're not counting Mighty Joe Young. But those movies...
I love that movie.
Yeah, Mighty Joe Young is great. I love the original, and I do love the remake that Disney did. I love both of them. But these movies have been so far and few in between, whereas back in the days, those Showa Godzilla movies were pumping out every year, and America got them. Whether they were released in the theaters, then went to the drive-ins, then went to your matinees, Saturday matinee, and then straight to TV. The fact is that was constantly in the public eye, well more than Kong. Kong always had steady rotation. Every Thanksgiving, we got the 1933 Kong on WWOR Channel 9 back in New York, along with King Kong versus Godzilla right after. But there was always a Godzilla movie in theaters, in your drive-in, constantly in the 60s and 70s. They were there, even going to 3 for me. Even going to 1985. King Kong Lives came out, I think, in 85 or 86. Between 84 and 86. That's when that movie came out. And I remember that because I went to see that movie in the theaters. As opposed to Godzilla 1985, which my mother, who's in the room right now, ladies and gentlemen, would not take me to see and let me cry in front of the poster in the movies. But I don't want to get slapped up on film. But that's what happened. I just think that Godzilla was he was in the public eye way more than Kong was. Yes, Kong is known, but Godzilla has been a part of world culture because of the way Toho was promoting it. And I think that, it's hard because Toho with the Heisei and then the Millennium series. And I'm not talking about G2K because that happened in the movies, but everything else, that was all direct to video, and it took a very long time to get there. A very long time. I think we got the first bunch of Heisei movies like in 99 or 98, right before Zilla dropped.
I think it was 97 actually.
Right before Zilla dropped. So we're talking about 2 years after they had wrapped. we're getting them because this new movie's coming out and it's to build excitement. I just think Godzilla is definitely more in the public eye than Kong was. And I'm not saying that people don't know what Kong is, because that's just retarded. Kong is synonymous with like Frankenstein and Dracula. In my personal opinion, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure we probably share the same opinions on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And even before the Heisei Godzilla movies came to the States direct to video before '98 came out, Godzilla vs. Destroyer was on the news about Godzilla's death.
That's right, CNN.
That was around the world.
That's right. And I'm not even going to get back into it, but I said in a previous podcast, I may or may not have jacked that video from somebody in high school. I'm just saying. This is a different time. But yeah, we jumped off from the cast so hard. I'm sorry, G95. I apologize, bro.
That's what happens when you bring up good points. So
It's true. That's a good
off topic.
That's a good point, G73. That's a good point. Okay, so all right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's go down the line real quick. I want everybody's opinion on it. So I'm going to start with you, G95, because we keep jumping off topic. The cast, in your opinion, is
phenomenal.
Perfect. You have anything else to say about the cast in general, in particular?
Trying to figure out a way to word this.
Who are you mostly excited to watch?
Well, he's going, I'm thinking Brie Larson.
No, I was actually going to say I don't find her as attractive as
I do.
73 does. Cute, but
She's from Sacramento, so I have to, because I'm from Sac.
There you go. Nice.
And she's around my age, too.
most excited to see is probably either John Goodman, because he has to either match or top his performance in 10 Cloverfield Lane to get any kind of real reaction from me. Because I mean, he set the bar really high for himself in his next movie, so I'm expecting some of the most memorable cinema ever, or memorable acting ever from in a monster movie from him. And Samuel L. Jackson's always fantastic to watch.
He's definitely fun to watch, and anything he does, whether it's a really boring Mace Windu, it don't matter to me. He's fun. He's excited. But
these mother bleeping snakes on this mother bleeping plane.
What about Loki or well, you said already your piece about Brie Larson, but what about Loki and Tom Hiddleston?
He's an alright actor. I liked him in Crimson Peak. I liked him in he was in Crimson Peak, right?
He was.
Okay.
G95 doesn't like Marvel. Remember, he's a DC fan.
No, I like the Marvel movies, but I don't.
No, I'm just pulling your leg.
I don't get what the hype is about him. Like, he's a good actor and stuff, but you know, I think he's sometimes has that persona of like kind of like Robert Downey Jr., where he just kind of became his character in real life, so he acts kind of like Loki in real life now.
Oh, he sure the hell tricked Taylor Swift into loving him.
No, she just reading new material for music.
Oh, the G-Show lost geek points right there. They know about Taylor Swift. Sorry.
So yeah, he's not really high up on my radar, really. He's a good actor. It's cool that, like, his name alone is going to draw more people to the movie who wouldn't necessarily see it, because, oh, Loki's in this. He's so hot. That's going to be a big part of it.
That's going to irritate me if I go to a theater full of women.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, he's just all right to me. He's nothing special.
Gotcha. What about you, G73? What are your thoughts about the actors in this movie? Besides Brie Larson.
Besides Brie Larson, John Goodman is what has sold it for me. John Goodman and Samuel Jackson. Just because I think they are going to play off each other very well. You know, and I am excited for Tom Hiddleston because, like I said, in that interview I tagged you guys in, and I advise everybody to watch it, not only just because it's a good interview, but they explain their characters a little bit more. Tom Hiddleston, he's playing a very interesting role. And, I mean, obviously he's the action hero in it, but he gets into a little bit more about his character, and it's just interesting. And I'm excited to see him. But John Goodman and Samuel Jackson are the ones that I'm really wanting to go to see this movie for. Just because not only just their casting is awesome, but it, like I said in the last podcast, it just looks like a genuinely good movie, and I'm excited for that because I like great movies. I know we all do, but so yeah, John Goodman and Samuel Jackson are what's selling the film for me. Not just a gigantic gorilla, but and Brie Larson, but John Goodman and Samuel Jackson, definitely.
Gotcha. Game Z1, what about you? Your thoughts on the cast of this movie?
Is it wrong that I had no idea that Loki was going to be in this movie?
Yes, shame on you.
Is it wrong that I did not recognize him as Loki at all?
Yeah, well, he had blonde hair in this one, so yeah, he definitely changed his appearance.
Yeah, I had no idea. I guess it's pretty cool. What everybody else said with Sam Jackson and John Goodman, I feel like those two are going to definitely play off of one another, and that'll be great. But as the cast and crew of Godzilla 54 once said, it's not about you, it's about the monster.
Hey, I love that.
And John O'Reilly. John O'Reilly's in it too, so I'm excited to see him.
John C. Reilly. And
yeah.
Stole my thunder. I was just about to say that.
I stole another one from G95.
Oh man.
I would say I'm excited for Brie Larson, but I don't think I've ever really seen anything she's been in. Maybe I have. I don't know. I don't really pay attention that often to the cast.
No, I hear you on that one.
I just like to pretend that they're the characters when I'm watching a movie. I don't look at say Star Wars and say, oh, that's Harrison Ford. No, that's Han Solo.
Exactly. And that's a whole nother can of worms coming soon on the Star Wars podcast that we're gonna have to probably do next week. You know that G95. We got to go in on that one. But no, yeah, I agree. I agree with you there, Gam Z1. I totally agree. When I watch a movie, I'm not looking at the actor. I'm looking at the character. If the actor's good enough, you just get lost. And that's how I felt with Harrison Ford reprising his role as Han Solo. Hell, even the last Indiana Jones movie that a lot of people hate, I don't care. Indiana Jones is back. I'm happy. And there's aliens. I love aliens. Yes. So, yeah, I totally agree with you there. John Goodman, again, he hasn't done anything that has solidified him as a certain character in my eyes. You said Fred Flintstone earlier. That was in the early 90s. I don't even count that. So, I am looking forward.
I love that movie.
You just love Halle Berry. But I am looking forward to seeing John Goodman in this because of 10 Cloverfield Lane. And like G95 said, you got to bring that game, man. I don't think you have to bring it as much because it's a totally different thing. What we got in 10 Cloverfield Lane is scary.
Carl Denham, though, he will probably have to sell his past with Kong. I feel. If he is Carl Denham.
And that's what I think is going to be a nice little piece of that movie.
But they'll have to explain, though, because if we remember, Kong died. So
no. It's easily there's a way easily around that. Because I'm saying Carl Denham. What John Goodman says in the trailer is something to the effect of I've been chasing this for 30 years. He did not get Kong off the island.
So it doesn't have to necessarily be the same Kong.
No, he just never got him off the island.
This could be a scenario where he never got Kong off the island.
Exactly.
And Kong just kept growing.
And that's why they went back. He never got him off the island. And that, to me, that is a very interesting story to tell. They were there, and let's just say everybody died but him. Fay Ray died, and Darrow, I should say. They all died.
They're going to have to explain 30 years. Like, what did he see 30 years ago that makes him want to express this?
But that's the whole reason for that one particular scene in this trailer where he said, "For 30 years I chased this." We've seen 2 iterations of King Kong set in the 30s. We've seen the original that was made in the 30s, and then we saw Peter Jackson's that harkened back to the 30s, right? Because 76 was real time, okay? It was like Godzilla 1985, if you will, or G14. That was happening in today's day and age. But Peter Jackson's Kong wasn't, and of course, 1933, that happened real time because that's when it was. That being said, this movie's taking place in the 70s. So let's just say 30 years from the 70s, they've set the 40s instead of the 30s. It's still believable that this is that first expedition. He was on that expedition to Skull Island.
They even explain in that interview I tagged you guys in why it takes place in their time area. So yeah, definitely check it out when you get the chance.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for it. I'll tell you this though. Plot twist. Low-key, Tom Hiddleston is blonde in this movie. This Kong is a girl. They never call him King Kong. This Kong is a girl. This Kong is going after Tom Hiddleston, not Brie Larson. Mark my words. Y'all heard it here first on the G Show podcast.
Well, see, the tagline
then
is
Brie Larson plays
"Discover
like
how Kong
the
became king." So
the Adrian Brody.
Not even. Think about this. In 1976, Jeff Bridges was a photographer.
That's true.
Brie Larson, when you first see her, is holding a camera. It is the perfect opposite, and I love it. And that's just where I'm going with it. That's just a speculation. I have no idea what's going on. But if
might be the beer talking.
It might be.
The tagline is "Discover how Kong became king." So.
Oh, that's right. All right, never mind
Kong
then.
became queen.
All right, never mind then. But you know what? In today's day and age, man, they're switching up characters left and right. You know, Star Trek Beyond. So who's gay? That's cool. It's who's to say Kong can't be gay? Maybe, let's not go there. Screw that shit. That's way too political for this podcast. And you know what? This podcast ain't for the political. This podcast is for the geeks. And that being said, it's time to wrap things up. So I want to thank my panel here because they have been spectacular. Okay? So you, Gam Z1, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Or anytime, you know that. G73, thank you.
As always.
And G95, thank you.
Good to be back.
And real quick, everybody, I just want to say one thing real quick, man. Cherish those around you, okay? Because you never know when they're gonna go, and it's a sad, scary thing, when you don't have that anymore. So just hold on to memories, hold on to everything you can hold on to, and love life and those around you. All right. I am G1, and I want to say thank you for joining me on the best damn Godzilla podcast I've ever been on, because it is the only damn Godzilla podcast I've ever been on. And until the time I get on another podcast, this is me signing off. Peace.